This video will demonstrate how we execute a leak investigation using Setaroo Fieldforce. In the last video, we created a leak work order and we set that to scheduled and assigned the leak investigation task to James Manianis. What I'm showing on the screen now is Fieldforce on the iPhone, and I can show that within the work order filter, I have the filter set up to show me work that is scheduled and assigned to Jim Manianis. That is why on the results page here, I see the leak at 1035 Molat Court. So Jim would have gotten a phone call, been told to drive out to this location. He would have gotten there, logged into Fieldforce. His work order filter is set to show him work that's assigned to him and scheduled. He would see this job in his list. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that work order. Under the summary section, we can see there is no assigned to, just like we showed in the first video. The team is 413. The owner is Jake Wallen, which is all correct. There's your description, 1035 Molat Court. There's your long description. So just showing that all of these fields that we filled out are still there for review. I'm going to open up the task list. We can see that the initial leak information task is completed. We can go in there and look at this, the person who reported the leak, the details, the contact number for the person who reported the leak, CalGrid page, etc. So all of that information is there for James to look at before he even goes to the site. And then we'll go ahead and open up the leak investigation portion. So James would come in here and he would select his section number. Would put in details of the locate, like whatever correlation or leak details that was performed in the field. Estimated flow in gallons per minute. Is an encroachment permit required? USA locate required. If we call that locate number in, we would enter that locate number in here. We'd also enter whatever the expiration date for that is and indicate whether or not we deployed BMPs and a list of the BMPs that we did deploy, right? Just so that we know that we did make some BMPs and we did go ahead and deploy them. So I'm going to set this to complete and save it. So now you can see the leak investigation portion is done. I'll back out to where it shows me the main page here. Go into time. Now this would default to Jim's name. It defaults to mine because I'm the one who's logged in. So I'll go ahead and just change that James, and he can say this was regular time. If it was overtime or double time or time and a half, you could put that in there. Let's just say we spent 1 hour on this and we started today at, I don't know, 10:45 a.m. That's when that 1 hour started. And the budget, we'll just put general maintenance and save. So now James is charged 1 hour to this. He's updated the task showing that that task is done. Now this is the decision point he will have to make. Under the summary, if this leak is indeed our leak, we're just going to change this work order status from scheduled to waiting for schedule, which the Omni software will pick up. Jake Wallen will see that there's a job waiting for him to schedule his crew to go do that. He'd be able to look at that job, see that it's the 1035 Molat Court job. He'll be able to see the initial leak information. He'll be able to see the leak investigation portion that Jimmy did in the field. And he would be able to then assign this to one of his crew leaders and switch the status back to schedule. In the instance where this work we investigated and we determined that this work does not belong to Contra Costa Water District, if this is perhaps a leak on the customer side of the meter, or this is an irrigation leak, or it just isn't our responsibility, Jimmy would come in here, add some comments saying, that this belongs to the customer, or, whatever those comments that are appropriate. He would just open up the comments here and type those comments in and save it. I won't do that at this point. And then instead of changing this to waiting to be scheduled, right? That's it. That will go to Jake. He would go ahead and say that this was completed and save that, right? So if it's completed, that's going to go. And then this work order, we didn't have to do any of the rest of the tasks because they weren't applicable. There was no leak repair. This leak did not belong to us. So in this case, I'm going to say it's waiting to be scheduled and assume that this leak is belonging to the water district so that I can continue the next video. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And you'll see when Jimmy does this, it'll go out to Maximo. It'll save all the information we put in there, and it'll come up with this warning. This work order has been updated and no longer applies to your work order filter. And the reason why is our work order filter is saying, show me work order status is scheduled, assigned to Jimmy. But this is no longer scheduled. This is waiting for schedule. So it drops off Jimmy's list. And that concludes a leak investigation using Fieldforce.